Hello everyone, I am here to do a quick disclaimer before I show you the new paper storage and how it turned out. And my disclaimer is you should not put your bookcases on wheels. That's not what they're made for. And they do come with attachments to attach them to a wall. And so you should make sure that when you put up your bookcases, you attach them to the wall so that they cannot tip over. That's the reason they're supposed to be attached to the wall. And so I'm just here to say I am not telling you that you should do this. This is just how I did it because this is something that I felt was necessary for me. And I also don't have children that come in my art room that might climb on this. So, that makes a difference too. And, but still, it could tip over if you put it on wheels and you don't attach it to the wall. Either one of those things could make it tip over. So I'm not suggesting that you do this. You should not do this. This is something that I did that I will be taking the risk of. But again, like I said, I don't have children that come in here. And as far as it just tipping over, I did put all of my weight on the bottom. I have stacks of big magazines on the bottom, which are quite heavy. And then my paper storage, and then the top shelf and what's on the very top, those things are very light, like fabric and that type of thing. So, I did put my weight at the bottom, and I do make sure that children don't come anywhere near it. So that is my disclosure. Don't do what I do. Do what you're supposed to do. So, and now we will get on to, I will show you how I decorated my paper storage and how I cleaned up my shelves and arranged the things that we have for our stash. I'll be right. Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back to my channel. I'm back to show the reveal of the paper storage. And also I was asked about the dyed paper that I had made and whether or not I could, I would collage on it. And yes, I definitely would. So here is just a piece of the dyed paper that we made last week, I think. And but I just went ahead and I did the masked collage and I did this sheet and I love the way that it turned out. So, and those are all stamps that we made. Well, these stamps we did not make in the series, but those are just circles. So, but I taped it up on our paper storage with just some medical tape. And so I'll take that down. Here is the reveal of our paper storage. I did decorate it. That's not my real forte, and I apologize about the shadows, but I decorated it with a lotus blossom on each side. If you'll notice, it's upside down. And it's upside down because remember the top shelf was a little bit skinnier. Now I could have flipped it over before I decorated it, but I didn't think about it because I decorated it before I started putting everything in it. And I decided that the smaller shelves were just a little bit tighter, really not much, but because those are the shelves that will not be moved the most, I would put them on the bottom. But I had already decorated the whole thing, so my lotus flowers are upside down. And like I said, decorating them is not my real forte, but the strength in putting on the newspaper and the, and the collage and stuff like that on it, that helps make it even stronger. So here's what I did. Our baskets are here. I did red, orange, and yellow in this basket. And then I just went through and grabbed all of the papers that I've been doing for this series, and they're all here. Whether they're found papers or colored papers or whatever, I just sort them by color and just toss them in there. And it's very easy to just take your paper when your drawers are shut, and as you're sorting, you just go in and you just throw them right in there. You don't have to pull it out or anything. This one I haven't marked yet. This is a mixed, this is all what I call mixed colors, so I could not decide where to put them, and so they go in here. A lot of times when I'm sorting papers, if I look at a paper and go, that's yellow, because that's the most that I see, then I put it in the yellow drawer. But if I look at it and I can't just come up with a color right away, then I go ahead and I put it in here. So, and then again, like I said, my punches are here on the bottom shelf. And then in this one here, this is our fresh card and copy paper. So this is just stuff that hasn't been used or dyed. We've got the colored copy cardstock and our regular cardstock and our regular copy paper in there. So that is how the paper storage worked. It really worked well because I had paper everywhere. I had paper in here and I had paper on, you know, just all over. And stacked in little files and that type of thing. So it was nice to just go through all of those and literally just sort them out and put them where they belong. And now all of my paper is in the one spot. And there's still, I have a lot of paper here already, and there's still a lot of room to put more paper in each of these. The biggest one is my black, white, and brown. And part of that is because I technically, a lot of times I use the white. And then instead of going to my scrap paper, I just go ahead and get a new piece. So with it sorted like this, it's easier to say my white papers, my white scraps are in there. And so I just can pull that out and grab some white scraps instead of going and getting a new sheet because I know where it is, and it's easier than trying to dig through a stack of a bunch of paper. So, and I would put my tea dyed with the browns, you know, just whatever you have. If you find pretty pictures or whatever that you think you want to use in something, you can throw those in there too by color. So what I wound up doing was, it took me 2 days. I cleaned off this whole thing. Now, granted, the bookshelf we did not buy for the series, but I had to have this because I needed something that was movable. And, you know, so that is something that you may not have, but, you know, you'll have your storage wherever you have it. But, so on the bottom, I just have magazines, and I have my collecteds, which is, you know, like my plastic bowls and that type of thing, like cottage cheese bowls and that type of thing, where I use the lids for paint palettes. I use the bowls for water, for cleaning my, you know, paintbrushes. So there's just a roll up of tissue paper that we've already colored. And so I just roll that up, and someone gave me the suggestion of cutting a paper towel tube. And when you roll it up, stick it in there. Great idea. That is such a good idea. So, but, yeah, so I cleaned off that shelf, and I did wind up having to add another shelf. I had just this one and this one and this one. But since I put that in there, I needed to add one more. So I did add one more to the top. And so I'll show you, I'm going to show you around the other side too. So, but I just have like my fabrics are up there, and those are all fabric boxes. If I decorated them, it would be prettier, but I just am not real good at that. And I just took some of the things, that's like one of the paper clips that we made. Some of the things are just kind of set around as I was going through because I just had them like stuffed here or there. But I got all of my paints. I made these 2 storages here to hold all of the paints and the liquids that we've made, our alcohol inks and our watercolors and just all sorts of painty colors up in there. And so just all of our things got all sorted out neatly and put like kind by like kind as best as I could. So I was really happy with the way it turned out. And like I said, it took me 2 days because I literally took all of these boxes that had stuff just stuffed in them, and I took everything out and put it all back in, you know, where I thought it should go. So I'm going to take you around the end just a little bit because I do want to show you the back of the shelves. So I'll just show it to you from the side. There's our, put my bead box up there. And again, one of the flowers that we made, the feather flowers that we made. And I also made this little storage right here. And this is just, and I'm not completely done with this yet, but we had so many little embellishments that we'd made. So there's a button and a bead, and it's sewn through a piece of our foam board behind here. But these are just little fruit and grain, and it came like this. It was 4 boxes in there, and so I wound up just kind of adjusting the outside box a little bit because it was pretty loose. So I was able to adjust it enough to put a piece of just regular cardboard here. And again, this one has bent legs going this way. And then I just held it up with a little bit of the foam core board. But so those will be able to be pulled out. I left these on here, but I think I'm going to cut them off. So, but you know, so there's all of my handmade stamps and just all sorts of embellishments. I will go ahead and put little labels on here when I get it completely done. So there's just a little book that we made. Oh no, that is a ephemera holder. So little pockets. But I wanted to show you I used the back also because all of these things left me a little room in the back. And we made this, these a long time ago. I showed you how I made this storage unit. And those are just yogurt containers. So I went through and I pulled out some paper that I had enough to cover all of them. And so I went ahead and just colored all of those. Those are the embroidery flosses that we got. And all of these are still empty. And, you know, these ones, the glue didn't stick very well. Just put a little piece of paper and a little bit of glue and then just write on them, you know, what's inside. Embellishments, inchies, butterfly bits, and that one is empty. But I wanted to, because they were just the yogurt containers and I didn't like the way that those looked, I went ahead and I covered them all up. And so I think that that looks really cute. I've got some of the cards that we made through this series so far are just stacked up there. They won't stay as I roll it around, they'll fall down. But it looks pretty right now, just the way it's sitting. But, so that's the thing, I had a little extra room around the back, and because this is on wheels, I could put these here. And it works really well to hold a lot of that little stuff, the paper clips, the little, the washers that we bought, the little clothespins that we bought, all those little tiny bits that you don't know what to do with. This is a great way to store them in some kind of a container that you use over and over again. You know, like I said, my husband eats yogurt. So, you know, I had a bunch of those containers that were all the same, and I was able to stack them in. This is just a vacuum cleaner box, and I cut it in half. It was only this wide because it's like an upright little mini vacuum cleaner. And so I cut the box right in half. Here you can see here. See, there's the little vacuum cleaner. And I just taped both ends shut and literally cut all the way around it and cut it in half. So I wound up with a half here and a half here, and it was just big enough to hold those. So anyways, I just thought that I would come back and give you a quick look. So there's that lotus flower upside down. And you know, the thing is, I thought, well, I can't have that flower upside down. But you know what? It works better this way. So the flower's going to be upside down. That's okay. You know, everything doesn't always have to be perfect. And if I ever wanted to, I could go collage over top of it. But I don't mind them being upside down. And so I'm going to leave it that way. But it did work better this way. I would rather have it work well than look pretty. That's the biggest thing, especially when it comes to your storage. Make sure it works well. It doesn't really make that much of a difference if it looks pretty. It's fun to decorate stuff for, you know, and gives us a crafty thing to do sometimes. But if you don't feel like it, that's totally fine. I've got, you know, a used UPS box there, and over here for these storages, those are just like cracker boxes and whatever, like, I don't know, rice-a-roni or something. But that worked really well for those. And those are just cut and stacked and taped together with some support in the middle. So that's how those are made, and they work really, really well. So thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Sorry for all of the shadows and everything, but I did want to go ahead and give you a look at how I've got it now with all of my, and see how that I measured how far it was between shelf to shelf. So, you know, I used the space that I had. I could have made it longer, but there was no point in making it longer because those baskets, there wasn't enough room for one more basket. And so then I would just have a shelf, you know, either those shelves would you know, they would be two shelves really wide, or if I put a divider there and kept those like that, and then, you know, I'd have that space there. But I thought I would rather leave that empty, and I'm glad I did, because I just used up those little granola bar things, and I've got another one. So when those are gone, I'm going to make another box like that, because you always have little bits that you need to put somewhere. So thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.